Welcome back to a Deeper Dig Conversation, episode 32. Decided to be out here in beautiful Kelly Park. Sun is shining. It's a very bright day. Joshua, pleasure to have you on, and thank you for being part of it. Yeah, so we're just going to get into it right away. And one of the main questions I like to ask is not only how you describe yourself as creative, but how would you describe yourself as a person? I feel like the work that you do is very influential on a global scale, but within your work, how would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a son, and those are probably like the highest priorities to me. And I think within that lens, in that frame of mind, I get to do this really cool job where, in many ways, it feels like we're designing and building products and interfaces and the way people are going to interact with computers and computing for the next decade or two. And it's super exciting. And I think probably the most important thing that I think about is just how to build the products that we're building in ways that feel really human and authentic and will genuinely make the lives of people better. And that generally means hopefully what we're doing is minimally distracting. It's giving them information that's super helpful to them when they really need it. But also entertain them and intrigue them and delight them in unexpected ways. I don't know. That's probably the most important thing.
And, one of the things I'm definitely curious about is the journey. I feel like an important thing that really needs to be captured in a lot of, emphasis on things is the journey, understanding the process on things. And, with who you are now, what is the story? What made you fall in love with, technology and fall in love with what it is that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think just growing up in Silicon Valley, it was just kind of in the water. It was in the air. And I don't know, I guess my upbringing is a bit different in that I grew up really poor. And in many ways, it felt like I was on the sidelines a bit, in the sense that growing up, I didn't really get to play with video games much, but definitely got exposed to computers and things like that at school. And I think one of the most influential classes I took in middle school was this computer repair class, where I think companies and people would donate a bunch of old computer parts. And there was this class where I got to basically assemble and build my own computer. I don't think I got to bring it home, but it was really cool to just see how these various parts can come together and boot up, and you can start doing things and find it useful. And then, during the .com boom, just learning about graphic design and using software like Photoshop and Dreamweaver and Macromedia Flash and all that stuff. It was super, super fun to kind of be in a position to have an idea and then code it and make it at home at night and then be able to publish it onto the internet. And there's something about that was just super energizing and exciting. And I guess it kind of just draws back to just the things that really get me excited or light me up, which is just the idea of causing things to exist, having an idea and being able to manifest it in some way. And I guess one of the most powerful ideas that really drive me is the idea that kind of so much of the world around us was either intentionally or unintentionally designed by someone. And it's very easy to kind of slip into this sort of consumer mentality of, the cars we drive or the products we use or just things, services, products, buildings, etc. Feel like they're just things that exist and we participate in them. But I guess for me, such a big part of what excites me about design and building products is that you sort of get to shape the world that's around you, and nothing's really inevitable. And while you can have judgments on what products or services or things you like or dislike, there's also this opportunity to shape how these things will work in the future. And I try to really keep that to heart with just kind of how I think about things. And so everything that I experience, whether it be delightful or not delightful or just okay, is sort of input and inspiration for how to make things that I think will be really delightful and useful for people, for the things that I get to design and build.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Speaking about shaping the future, we of course know your impact with Meta, but also the impact that you were able to carry with your work at Soup. One of the things that I definitely was able to research is just how within the work that you were able to conduct at Soup is about having an impact. And so I'm curious about the story and the process of how, you were thinking about Soup and the execution within it.
Yeah, I mean, founded Soup in 2006. And this was when I first had my first kind of real tech job out of college. And I was working at Google at the time. And in college, I had gotten really passionate about social causes and really wanting to make a difference. But I also felt like I didn't have the skills that I needed to just go off and dedicate all of my time to kind of working at a nonprofit or an NGO. And so I got this job at Google, and it was really amazing on so many dimensions. But I just had this feeling in me that I could be doing some things right here, right now to make an impact. And so the idea of Soup was, could I convince a group of other young people to commit a certain amount of their time per week to brainstorm and actually execute on small sort of like for good interventions. And so in many ways, it's like our attempt to combine technology, entrepreneurship, and design into delivering solutions for the community. And so we've been at it for almost 20 years now, and we've done a lot of cool stuff, whether it be raising money to build a house in Haiti after the earthquake, or building hundreds of clean water wells in a bunch of different countries in Africa as well as in India, to most recently we've been building affordable housing in the Bay Area. And this recent project has really been, our focus is really just figuring out how we can, in a really beautiful way, in a really graceful way, add density to housing. And we just kind of noticed that a lot of affordable housing projects tend to be really small number of huge buildings. And it got us to think about, what if we can get a large number of small units built? And so a number of years ago, we decided to start figuring out how we can accelerate the building of accessory dwelling units, ADUs. And so it started off with my wife and I trying to build one in our backyard and going through the entire process of getting that done. And it was super, super hard. But then from everything that we learned there, we started to figure out what things we could do to lower the friction, whether it be prefab or preset plans, working with local government to get approvals for building these accessory dwelling units much easier to get. And over the last number of years, we've been able to build over 100 accessory dwelling units in the Bay Area, and that's been just super, super exciting.
No, that's amazing. One of the things that I feel like is always a major factor here in the Bay Area is the use of AI and the impact of AI.
Yeah.
And, with your experience founding Soup in 2006, gaining experience working at Google, and now with product design at Meta, how is the use of AI, specifically with product design at Meta, how do you feel like that is carrying an impact with the work you do today?
I mean, it's happening really fast and furious right now, and it feels like it's pretty hard to catch up on all of it. But I think at the end of the day, I do see AI as like something that's going to be potentially incredibly transformative. but it still is like a tool to help augment and expand, sort of extend and accelerate human capability. And so I really see it as a tool to harness and a tool to embrace. And obviously, there's a lot of things to be careful about and thoughtful about, and a lot of ethics questions and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, I think it's going to help people build things, and it's going to help people reason about things much faster. And it's been really fun to use it as a tool to brainstorm ideas, to make writing that I do more concise and more compelling. And then as the design team, we're using it all the time to create mock-ups of things, or get early ideas for how to design future interfaces. And it's also been really great for speeding up our production design and things like that as well.
And specifically about the products, with you guys collaborating with Oakley, and then of course Ray-Ban. Just personally for me, I am a very big fan of the products, the glasses, and just that feeling of seeing glasses and seeing the future.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was curious about is, like, with those collaborations, how did that process come to be, and just kind of creating this form of storytelling through products?
Yeah. I mean, glasses are just awesome because they've been around for a really, really long time. And it's probably one of the most early forms of wearable technology, right? Because seeing and having the ability to see is one of the most important things for humans to be able to relate and reason about the world, right? Like you and I both wear glasses just because we need them to see the world around us.
Yes.
It keeps us safe. It helps us get things done. And it's a huge part of being human. And one of the things that have been really amazing about our glasses is that probably some of our most fanatic users of glasses are actually folks who are blind or low vision. And so in many ways, the glasses they also are wearing, with our AI and with our technology in it, it's helping them sort of quote unquote see the world around them and understand the world around them, even though they have a hard time seeing or can't see. And but at the same time, I think as a company and as a group, we really want to make sure people actually want to wear the glasses, right? And so our partnership with Oakley and with Ray-Ban and EssilorLuxottica has been amazing because it really keeps us honest about what is fashionable, what's a comfortable looking pair of glasses, and while we as a company are growing really quickly in terms of learning what makes good glasses, having long-term partnerships with Oakley and Ray-Ban really help us have the constraints for what is going to be sort of socially acceptable and attractive, and what's going to cause people to actually want to wear the glasses. And of course, Ray-Ban and Oakley also give us the ability to have a bunch of different styles, right? Because people and faces come in a bunch of different shapes and sizes, and folks also have different sensibilities when it comes to fashion and style. And so being able to work with partners like them just help us get our glasses on just a lot more people, and that's super exciting.
Yeah, and also another thing that's really impactful is definitely creating that intersection of, what would this style of glasses look like? Because one of the things that is different, the style of Oakley glasses are going to look differently than Ray-Bans, but they're also that intersection of, okay, you can tell that these are Ray-Ban glasses, you can tell that these are Oakley sunglasses.
Right.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I feel is also really cool is there's a lot of different features incorporated with glasses. There's a lot of different features, not just from a visual aspect, but from also a hearing perspective. Were there any features that you and your team felt like, okay, this is a must that when you guys were conducting these glasses?
Yeah, I mean, longer term vision, we love glasses because it's just such a great form factor. It's close to like two of really, really critical senses. And so, especially with hearing and with seeing. And so, glasses form factor just uniquely allows you the ability for the computer to sort of see what you see and hear what you hear. And with that, gives the AI, the computing layer just so much more context about you. And I think for us, especially with Meta and the products we're known for in the family of apps, probably one of the most important features or pieces of technology we wanted to add to the glasses are the cameras, right?
Cameras, yeah.
I like to say that the best camera you have is the one that's most easily accessible to you. And so, well, for me at least, like I think one of the most exciting thing about these glasses is that I'm able to snap photos of my family, kids, moments in my life without having to like take out my phone. Or often like I find that whenever I pull out my phone and pull up the camera, even though it's super fast, I sometimes miss the moments.
Yeah.
And so these glasses have allowed me to just be a lot more present with kind of the world around me.
Yeah.
Without having to pull out my phone and then get distracted by a bunch of other things. So that's been really cool. And then similarly, I think the audio and the speakers we have in the glasses are really, really neat as well. To be able to listen to music, listen to an audiobook, do phone calls on the glasses has been really great. I mean, for me personally, as someone who has to wear glasses every day just to see, I love that I don't have to carry my AirPods around with me. It's sort of like two products are getting combined into one, and it just makes my life a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's the whole conveniency factor that really goes into it. Like I know for me, whenever I go about my day, it's just a bit easier knowing that like the conveniency for me is there, and I feel like you guys were able to accomplish that. Well, outside of tech specifically, is there anything that you get inspired by? Like I know that how you mentioned earlier that your father, your son, like having that feeling of family, do you feel like they inspire you in a way that makes your work more, not more better, but easier?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that I love about my kids, and I think this is sort of the case for all kids, is just how curious they are. And I find that in general, we become less curious as we get a bit older. Or we become a bit less kind of optimistic. And, it's sort of the whole thing that like they say that kids when they're all young are all like super creative and then they kind of slowly become less creative. And so I love that kids kind of have like a healthy disregard for the impossible. And I love the questions my kids ask me around what if, or is there a product that can do this? And it's awesome to kind of get their pure thoughts on how they see the world and the kinds of things they wish existed to make life more joyful or more useful and more fun. And those things inspire me a ton.
Yeah, like I know a factor that is like kids are always curious. Like this is funny. Like back in my previous job that I worked at, I was working with a couple of like middle school kids, and they never stop thinking. They never stop asking questions.
They have tons of ideas.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like as you get older, I think for me at least, I feel like the reason why we stop being more curious is because reality starts to set in. Where in high school we think, oh shoot, I want to be in a relationship. I need to think about college. But you get into college and you start thinking about adulthood, and then adulthood think about taxes. But when you're a kid, free range.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then we like to travel with our kids as much as we can. And my wife and I love travel, but I think what I love even more is seeing our kids in a brand new place and just kind of seeing their minds being blown and seeing how people in different walks of life or cultures and places live their life has been like really pretty inspiring to see as well.
Yeah, that's huge. And specifically here in the Bay Area, what are some traits about the Bay Area that you notice compared to other cities? I feel like what makes the Bay Area so special is just this sense of, like, I will say the Bay Area is a very strong tech space, but also how the Bay Area has this sense of community. What are some things for you that you see in the Bay Area?
For me, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the good weather is like plays a huge role. I know it sounds kind of silly, but whenever I think about why I choose to live here, weather is a huge part of it. And I think along with that, it's sort of the access to the outdoors. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're never more than like a 30-minute drive away from the ocean or the forest or giant redwood trees. And I think there's something super human and inspiring and awe-striking about being out in nature. And so I think that's a big thing. And then, you've got super big tech companies headquartered here, whether it be Meta, Google, Nvidia, etc. And so as a result, I think it's like a huge magnet for some of the world's best talent. And then you have schools like UC Berkeley and Stanford, and other great schools kind of in the area that also create the conditions of lots of interesting people kind of rubbing shoulders. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I do think the Bay Area, Silicon Valley is like a bit of a bubble. You can sometimes kind of lose the sense for what the real world is as well. And so I really try to be pretty self-aware about that and understand that the problems that I face day to day are definitely not the problems that people out in the world are doing. And so I think that's why like research is super important. That's why traveling I think is really important, just to see people in a bunch of different situations and a bunch of different contexts, so that when we build the products that we build, we'll be able to sort of support and deliver usefulness to as many people as possible.
Yeah. And what's another thing that's interesting too is like, I feel like there's a lot more events specifically like in the Bay Area and SF. I know there's like a lot more tech events.
Yeah.
So a lot more people going out and, getting that connectability and availability with people that are in tech. And I think that's crazy because I feel like there's no other city that's doing that.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I also really was able to just kind of get appealed on with your work is how there's a sense of storytelling. And storytelling for us is at the forefront of what we do. It's about how we go about our day-to-day lives. And, specifically with the work that you do at Meta and how you've just been able to build and establish this foundation of works at Meta. How do you feel like storytelling incorporates within that? Like the research is a factor, but specifically being based here and all that you've been able to really attain and learn throughout your experience, how does storytelling contribute towards your work at Meta?
I mean, I think it's pretty critical, right? I think at the end of the day, stories are just like a very human thing. And I think it's like, I don't know what the stats are, but it's like people are going to be 100 times more likely to remember a story than just basic facts and figures.
Yeah.
And I think it's how we sort of recorded history in as far as like life ever existed, and it's the way we relate with each other. And I think like it's just more memorable, it's more human, and it's the primary way we connect and relate to people. And so I think whenever we're doing the work we're doing, whether it be building out a new feature, we try really hard to think about who this feature is for and how they'll actually use this feature in their real life, right? And so we really try to like think through scenarios in our own life or scenarios in people's lives, and try not to like insert any magical thinking, right?
Yeah.
It's like, is this actually going to be more useful than the existing tools they have in front of them? And why would they hire us to do a particular job compared to what they already have before? And I think stories play a huge part in helping us figure out if like, oh, that holds water and that's compelling and we think that's going to really work, or no, like this person's not going to do that. Like we should go back to the drawing board. And so, yeah, I think a lot of it is like stories combined with like real problems and real solutions, and being really honest about whether or not the solutions we're trying to deliver are better than the solutions they already have in their life.
Let's just say you have someone who is starting off early, they're young, but they want to do the work that you're doing, and they get inspired by the work that you do. What is some advice that you would have for them as far as getting that start and just really getting into that tech field?
I think so much of it is just about building things, right? I think especially when I was young, I had a lot of ideas and I tried to make a lot of ideas real. And I think by doing that, I realized how hard it is to make stuff and to build stuff and to design stuff. And so growing up, I ran a lot of like clothing brands and love screen printing t-shirts and things like that. And there's always like a lot more work involved in this. Just like you running a podcast, for a lot of people, it's like, yeah, you just need a couple camping chairs and you record a talk. But there's like a lot that goes into it that people don't appreciate. And so I think going through the reps yourself goes a long way in helping you really understand and appreciate how much work goes into building and making anything. But also, like, once you get the reps in, you figure out how to do it way more efficiently, and then it gets easier for you. And so I think that's really important, is just to have ideas and to do it. And so it could start with silly things or not so silly things, like having a lemonade stand, or I want to do whatever it takes to raise like $1,000 for a cause that I care about. To just, for me, it was like I learned a lot from just doing odd and end jobs, like whether it be digging a ditch for a sprinkler system for my neighbor, or designing a website for a small business. And then I think if you want to be doing what we're doing at Meta, then it would be about learning about wearables. And so, and really honing in on like what makes good glasses. What are the different types of glasses form factors that exist, right? There's like sort of tried and true shapes like the Pantos and the rectangle, and really becoming like a student of a particular thing and going really deep and understanding how styles have ebbed and flowed from really wire thin glasses to super chunky acetate glasses and kind of everything in between. And then actually like writing things down. So for example, if you like, one of the best ways to get good at evaluating glasses is to try a ton on, like go to the mall and try on all the styles and try to understand like why certain styles look good on you, and what styles do you think would work better on other people, and kind of just begin to build a framework for around these things. And then, you know, go and try out the Ray-Ban Meta glasses or the Oakley Meta glasses and write down all the things you'd want to improve if you were the ones building it. And I think that goes a long way. Like I think earlier on in my kind of career, when I was hiring designers, I loved designers who took the time to break down a product that they use day in and day out, and then redesign it to make it better and solve for a bunch of the things that annoy them about our product. And I think that is like a super great exercise to do as well.
Yeah, 100%. And we all know that essentially what you guys are doing at Meta is shaping the future, and it's going to build out the future of how we go about wearing glasses and just the feeling of different products being utilized.
Yeah.
But for you and what you can discuss about, what is the future of products at Meta? What's in store?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I take my job as like a huge responsibility. I think that the things that we're thinking about, the primitives that we're trying to shape, is going to potentially impact just humans of just billions of human hours and how they get spent. And we see that as a huge opportunity, and it's what motivates me and excites me about the job that I do. I think in the medium to long term, I think we're really trying to like design and build and shape the future of human connection. And so we think a lot about how glasses are going to help us ultimately be more human and help us stay connected to the people we care about, be present in the world around us. And so for me, one of the most important tenets is figuring out when computing is really, really helpful, and then staying away when it's really distracting and not helpful. And so I think in the medium to long term, I think AI is going to get a lot better. Having quick access to AI is going to help you do the things that you want to do throughout the day a lot more efficiently and a lot more quickly. I think when we have displays in our glasses, it's going to make a huge difference as well, right? Like, think about the real world and the digital world kind of perfectly blending together. And so something I think about is like, it'd be awesome just to be able to point at something, look at something, and for the computer to know that I'm paying attention to it and to begin to spool up information that I might want to learn about it. So I could be out on a hike and identify poison oak and poison ivy, or is this mushroom forageable and edible, or is it going to kill me? Just being able to sort of right click on the real world is kind of how I think about it. And I think it's like super, super cool. And I think it's going to be a powerful tool. We're going to build powerful tools to help people learn things a lot faster, right? Imagine fixing a leak underneath my sink, but knowing exactly which nut to loosen and how to make sure I don't make a big mess and have water be all over. And so being able to get sort of in real life, in situ help will be great. Like, imagine learning how to play the piano and seeing the keys light up that you should be pressing. I think things like that are going to be incredible.
It's like, what's that one video game that you play on the laptop, the one where you can go ahead and tap the different keys? You know what I'm talking about? Something like that. That would be crazy for the future. Well, I, for one, am very excited about that future. Very excited to see what's in store for you and your work at Meta. Josh, it was a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.